Does Ragnarok turn this franchise around? Let's find out. Hello Fanatics, I'm Dylan Phillips, and this is the Film Fanatic Review bringing you Thor Ragnarok, starring Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston, and Cate Blanchett. First, we'll tell you what the movie is about, and our initial thoughts. Then we'll move on to our spoiler-free likes and dislikes. We'll finish up with some spoiler-heavy thoughts on this film, and our final word. Thor Ragnarok follows the story of Thor, the god of thunder, who finds himself trapped on a dystopian gladiator world, while Hela, the goddess of death, lays siege to Asgard. Overall, I definitely enjoyed this film. I found that the Thor films were the weakest in the MCU, but Ragnarok definitely changes that. For what I liked about this film, let's start off with the best part, the visuals and the direction. Taika Waititi does an unbelievable job in his direction. This is the brightest, most vibrant MCU film outside of Guardians, and I loved every second of it. Comic book movies like this need to be bright and colorful, and finally someone did it. Enough with the constant doom and gloom. The cast in this film is great, from mainstays like Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston to newcomers like Cate Blanchett and Tessa Thompson. And that plays into the characters in this movie, who are some of the best that we've seen in the MCU so far. We got the best Thor, Loki, and Hulk, but we also got some great newcomers. Valkyrie is instantly a favorite in the MCU, as she becomes the Asgardian Black Widow and then some. Hela, while underutilized, is definitely a menacing presence thanks to Cate Blanchett's performance. Felt a lot like Dark Galadriel. The Grandmaster was awesome as Jeff Goldblum went full Goldblum with his performance, and I couldn't see anybody else playing the character afterward. Those one-liners were spot on. And Korg, who was voiced by the director himself. That character was the definition of perfect comic relief. He had the entire theater cackling. I also really enjoyed the score of this film, as the synth rock feel that it brought definitely fit the tone of this film. I even find myself humming the main theme on occasion. And the tone of this film plays into why the script is also so good. This film is so much better than Thor: The Dark World, which I would consider one of the worst of the MCU. However, the script doesn't always know what it wants to be. There are obviously two major storylines going on in this movie. There's Ragnarok, and then there's a bare-bones Planet Hulk story going on. Now, Ragnarok is supposed to be the dramatic backbone of this story, whereas the Planet Hulk story is supposed to be the comedic side relief. However, this film tends to gravitate towards what is considered the B story in the Planet Hulk one and go for the laughs, rather than focusing on the dramatic tension. Because of this, Hela is severely underused, and that's a damn shame because she is definitely one of the best Marvel movie villains we've seen to date. And that's where I'll end our spoiler-free thoughts on this film. If you want to hear our final word or rating of this film, pause now and click the link in the description, because now it's time for spoilers. First off, was I the only one that got a lot of different vibes from this film? The planet of Sakaar felt like District 9 or Chappie meets Mad Max Thunderdome. And then there's the subplot with Heimdall as he's trying to protect the people of Asgard, and that felt a lot like Lord of the Rings with Heimdall acting as Aragorn, especially when he took them to the sanctuary and the doors basically looked like Mines of Moria. Side note, I could totally see Idris Elba as Aragorn, so please somebody start a petition. The film also changed a few things from the stuff that we saw in the trailers, and I think they were changed for the better. Hiding the fact that Thor loses his eye in the movie was great, as I didn't need to see that in the trailer, and it was more shocking to see in the actual movie, and that's something that can easily be cut out because it's a CGI thing that they put in afterwards, so they just need to put the basic footage in for the trailer and then add on the extra layers in post for the final thing. But the biggest change from the trailer was Thor's showdown with Hela, where she breaks Mjolnir. In the trailer, she is in New York and they're in a dingy, grungy sort of alleyway, and instead they moved it to Norway. I felt like moving it from the dingy New York to the cliffs of Norway was way more scenic, but also fit the tone and the emotional suspense that was going on at that point, especially with the events leading up to that scene. And I loved the cameos in the tragedy of Loki. I knew Sam Neill was going to be in this movie, and I was a bit bummed that he wasn't in a Jurassic Park reunion scene with Jeff Goldblum, but I didn't know that he was going to be playing Odin in a stage play, and so that was a bit surprising, but the biggest surprise to me was Matt Damon showing up as Loki. Oh, and I totally forgot that Doctor Strange shows up in this movie. He was in it for such a short time that it's hard to remember it, and he comes off as a little too comical for the character that we knew from his movie. I don't know how that's going to change going into Infinity War, so we'll see. And while a lot of the scenes in this movie were great, the best scenes to me were Heimdall traveling through the Asgardian countryside when the Grandmaster fries his previous champion in front of Thor. Then you have Thor and Hulk's dynamic when they're talking to each other, and you get to really understand Hulk as a character beyond just Smash. And then the final best scene, which is obvious, it's the gladiator scene between Thor and Hulk. So, with the thoughts heard, here's our final word. Thor Ragnarok is a fun, action-packed, and entertaining superhero comedy that is filled with bright visuals, intricate design, and a groovy score. While it's sometimes confused on which story is the right one to feature, the finale to the Thor trilogy brings the best rendition of the God of Thunder. This film was great in helping to expand the Marvel Cosmic Universe and finishing Thor's trilogy, while at the same time feeling like it's its own standalone film. So I'm gonna give Thor Ragnarok an 8.5. Thanks everyone for watching our review. Are you planning on seeing Thor Ragnarok? Or if you've already seen it, do you have something to add? What did you think of this story? Let us know in the comments below. I'm Dylan Phillips, and this has been the Film Fanatic Review. If you liked this video and you want to see more, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Check out our latest If You Liked video, where we recommend movies similar to the film Happy Death Day. Don't forget to follow us on our social media. And until next time, Fanatics, keep it real.